There was once a king. A king who never lost a single war. Every battle he entered, he won. Every enemy who stood against him was destroyed. Every kingdom in his path eventually fell. His name was not respected. It was feared. Soldiers would fall silent the moment they heard his army was coming. Entire empires prepared for collapse. When he decided to move, historians called him undefeatable. His people called him unstoppable. His enemies called him a disaster of nature. But nobody saw the truth behind his victories. Because while he was conquering the world outside, he was slowly losing the war inside himself. A war no sword could fight. A war no army could protect him from. And this is where his real story begins. Because sometimes winning every battle does not mean you are winning your life. He was not born powerful. He was born in a world where power decided survival. A world where weak people disappeared quietly. Where kings were not respected. They were feared. From a very young age, he learned something different from everyone else. While other children learned how to live peacefully, he learned how to survive conflict. While others dreamed about comfort and happiness, he studied war. He observed everything. How leaders spoke. How armies moved. How fear spread among people. And slowly, something inside him changed. He stopped thinking like a normal person and started thinking like a strategist. Every situation became a calculation. Every person became a move on a chessboard. Every weakness became an opportunity. And this mindset made him dangerous. Because people who understand power too early in life stop seeing life as life and start seeing it as control. And that is exactly what happened to him. His first war came earlier than expected. No one believed he would survive it. But something unexpected happened. He didn't just survive the war. He dominated it. His strategies were unpredictable. His decisions were fast. And his mind remained calm. Even in chaos. Where others panicked, he observed. Where others retreated, he advanced. And he won. That one victory changed everything. People stopped seeing him as a young leader and started seeing him as a rising force. After that, every war became easier. One by one, his enemies fell. And slowly, a pattern was created. He never lost. Not once. And that is where the real problem began. Because constant victory does something dangerous to the human mind. It removes fear. And when fear disappears, awareness disappears too. At first, power feels like freedom. Freedom to act. Freedom to decide. Freedom to control outcomes. But slowly, power starts changing. The person holding it. And in his case, something subtle happened. He stopped feeling excitement. Victory no longer felt like an achievement. Defeat no longer existed. Challenges no longer scared him. Everything became normal. And when life becomes normal, the mind starts searching for meaning again. But there was no meaning left. In his victories, he had already conquered everything outside him. And now, there was nothing left to chase. That is when emptiness started growing inside him. Not loudly, not suddenly, but slowly, like silence, spreading in a room. Outside, he was still a king. But inside, something else had started. A war. No one could see. A war between achievement and emptiness. At night, when the world became silent, he would sit alone. And for the first time in his entire life, he felt something unfamiliar. Not fear of enemies, but fear of himself. Because powerful people often reach a strange point in life. The world no longer challenges them. So their own mind becomes the battlefield. And slowly, he started asking questions he never asked before. If I have everything, why do I feel nothing? If I am so strong, why do I feel so weak inside? If I have defeated everyone, who is defeating me now? But there were no answers. Because some wars cannot be solved with strategy. They can only be felt. As the years passed, his empire grew larger. But his emotions grew smaller. People around him believed he was living the perfect life. But no one knew. He was slowly disappearing inside himself. Because this is what no one tells you about success. If you win too much without understanding yourself, you slowly lose connection with life itself. He had everything a person could dream of, but he could not feel any of it. Gold meant nothing. Power meant nothing. Respect meant nothing. Even victory meant nothing. And that is the cruelest form of suffering. To have everything and still feel nothing. One day, he came across an idea that changed everything. A simple idea. You cannot control the world. You can only control your mind. At first, it felt too simple, almost useless. But slowly, he began to understand its depth. He had spent his entire life trying to control everything outside him. Wars, people, outcomes, empires. But he had never once controlled what was happening inside him. And that was the real problem. Because when a person ignores their inner world, the outer world starts feeling meaningless. He realized something painful. He had become a master of everything except himself. And this is where his story connects to today's world. Because even now, people are doing the same thing. They are chasing success, chasing money, chasing validation, chasing attention. They are winning outside, but losing inside. Just like the king. And slowly, they reach the same point where everything is available, but nothing feels meaningful. Where life is full, but the mind feels empty. Where success exists, but peace does not. The story of the undefeated king is not just history. It is a mirror. A mirror that shows what happens when a person wins everything except themselves. Because in the end, the real battle was never outside. It was always inside. And no empire, no success, no victory can replace a mind that is not at peace. The strongest king in history was not defeated by another king. He was defeated by himself.